Hello everyone, I hope you all are doing good. So welcome to my channel, and today I am going to start the full series of data pipeline. As I have mentioned in multiple of my videos that data pipeline is one of the very important topic of data engineer, be it of any years of experience. Everyone should know what is the meaning of data pipeline. So in this video, we'll know about the definition of data pipeline, what it means, what is the meaning of data pipeline, and according to the experience, what is expected to be a data engineer from a data pipeline perspective. We'll also understand the different types of data pipeline and just look into the basic definition of it. And then further into the next video and the other videos, we'll look into more of the practical aspects, some use cases, more deep down with the tools, with all the technology stack which is involved in the data pipeline. So here we start now. So for data pipeline, like I have worked with multiple data pipeline use cases, medium level, a very complex level, and all that troubleshooting experience I have in the data pipeline. But for better definition and better structuring of what data pipeline is, I was going through the IBM document, and I have always looked into the IBM architecture document whenever I have to go through anything related to data engineering, like data observability, data governance, or to the data lineage, pipeline lineage. So we'll talk about all this stuff in our other videos. But now coming to the data pipeline definition. So data pipeline, I would say like gathering information, gathering raw data from multiple sources, transforming. Before transformation, you can clean the data, do some transformation, and then put the data into some other data store such as data lake or data warehouse. For example, I picked the data from the Oracle system, did some filtration, did some transformation as per the business logic, and finally I put the data into my Snowflake data warehouse. Okay, so this is one of the very simplified ways where we can move the data from a normal RDBMS to the Snowflake system. So your data sources for this pipeline, your data sources can be APIs. You can gather the data with the help of API. For example, you want to get the recommendation of the restaurant rating. So in that case, you can hit that website, go look into the free API, exposed API, and from that API you can get that rating of the restaurant. Then there are SQL, for example, with the Oracle system, MySQL, the SQL server you can get with the SQL. The other is a NoSQL database. You can gather the source. You can also gather the source from mainframe system. You can gather the source from AS400 system, or you can also gather the source from a normal plain text or POS from the point of sale of any merchant or merchant sites. So there are multiple sources you can gather this data. And when you gather this data, these are the raw data, and this land into your system, your full ecosystem, this land into your ecosystem. Then you can match the schema, you can clean up the data, and then you can do the transformation. For example, you want the aggregate of something, you want the create a customer linking of the address, that can be done. So multiple business transformation can be applied to the clean data, and then data will be put into after the final transformation and everything. When you are satisfied with everything, you'll put the data into some data lake or data warehouse, so that the reporting layer or the reporting team can take up that data, use in their reporting. Data scientists can use that data, ML engineer can use that data to apply the machine learning algorithm, or data scientists can use it for the analytical purpose. So down the stream, people can use it for their own purposes. But all the purpose, analytical purpose, for all the analytical purpose, we need the data into a proper format and proper schema with the proper meaning. And that what data pipeline is giving the full advantage. Data pipeline brings the meaning to the data in the terms of systematic structuring of data, keeping the meaningful data together, making it more rationalized data and more normalized kind of data. So this is what data pipeline does. And as per your experience, as per the complex use case, this pipeline can go to a very complex layer. Now, if I talk about the types of data pipeline, so basically, if you ask any person, they will tell there are mainly two types of data pipeline: a batch processing and the streaming processing. But there are two more data pipeline which has come up recently when the cloud came into the technology stack. Then everything regarding the pipeline has also a bit changed. So I'll write it here. So data pipeline can be the batch processing. We can write batch processing. pipeline. Then we have a second one, the very common, the streaming pipeline. We can call it streaming processing pipeline. Then we have data integration. We'll get into the bit of the detail of it. We'll understand by the definition what is data integration pipeline. And then as the cloud has come up, so all the scenario has been changed. So we have a cloud native solution for the pipeline. We call it a cloud native pipeline. So batch pipeline, as you must be knowing, anything which we schedule the job. For example, you have a, transaction system of a banking project or for a retail project, and you have multiple jobs. So first job will fetch the data, second job will clean the data, third job will transform the data as per the business logic, and the fourth will dump the data. There can be multiple intermediate jobs which will do the reconciliation process, which can do the bit of unit testing process in the same thing, and as per the reconciliation percentage or testing percentage is passed, then it will move into the next level of the job. So in the batch processing, we create the job with the help of orchestration tool, or we create a job with the help of a program, and we schedule it in a orchestration tool. Like we can use Airflow to schedule the job, you can use cron tab to schedule the job. Nowadays the cron tab has been advanced. Before the 10-15 years back it was not so advanced, but now people have started again using the cron tab. There are other scheduling like Autosys is there. So there's something from IBM also. I'm not getting that name, but you can use any of the scheduling tool to schedule the job. So batch processing is highly optimized. You don't need to every time go and look into the jobs like it is optimized or not. You don't need to always open the program for that. It is very much kind of a static job which has been created, and mainly batch jobs are for the heavy data. When you need a very complex transformation and you want to transform a large amount of data, there we use a batch processing. And this is mostly out of the business line, means I mean out of the business day. For example, when like in the for the US client, so the nightly job which is running in the batch, we'll call it a batch processing pipeline. The heavy jobs are always out of the business timing, so that the resource utilization, the compute layer utilization can be more. So the now batch processing can be used with the Spark, with a normal Python, or with a tool. So it depends on which technology stack your team chooses, or what is the depending on the rationale behind that, depending on the reasoning behind that. The second thing is streaming processing. So streaming processing in where the event occurs or event happens, and you capture that event. Event means the starting point of the information. For example, you are getting the information from the call log. You are getting the information from something, for example, earthquake seismic report. You're getting the information from some news channel. So as per the event occur, you capture the data, put it into pipeline, put it into queue, and immediately the processing happens and the data is put into some other data lake or data warehouse. In a streaming pipeline, we don't work with very large amount of data, because then the queue will be full. Your data will be in the queue for longer period of time, and the whole purpose of the streaming will be not be justified here. So in a streaming pipeline, we have a stream of data, very less amount of data, and less amount of transformation is done on the data, because in a streaming pipeline, if you do a very heavy transformation, then it will delay the full pipeline, full streaming queue. The tool can be used. This Kafka is very popular. So Kafka is used for the streaming pipeline. Spark streaming is also used. So I have worked with multiple use cases of Kafka. With the Kafka SQL, Kafka SQL is kind of magic. Like you can look and go through the documentation. You can do the transform at the same time. And the way how the Kafka SQL works internally is very beautiful. You can go through the documents. The next is data integration pipeline. So data integration is also a kind of normal pipeline, but here your sources are from the multiple sources. Like you can have a sources from some other cloud, you can have a sources from text file, you can have a sources from multiple database, NoSQL database. Your or from the APIs, you can capture all the source of the data and then create a unified format of the data. So that is data integration pipeline. With the help of NiFi tool, you can do it very easily. NiFi can be linked to multiple sources very quickly. You can normally write a Python program for that also. But NiFi tool is very meant for this data integration. You can integrate with multiple sources, create a job in the NiFi, and then you can have the unified information or unified meaning of the data in some of the common format, data format. The last is the cloud native pipeline. Cloud native pipeline is something like data pipeline whose solution is based only with the cloud. For example, you want to move the data from Oracle to some S3 bucket. So you can use data migration services of the cloud itself. You can write a Python which will run in the cloud AWS EC2 machine, get the data from the Oracle and put the data into the S3 bucket. So any data pipeline solution which is based in the cloud, be it a AWS, be it a Azure, or be it a GCP. So any kind of data pipeline which is built with the cloud services, with the use the help of the cloud services, that is called cloud native pipeline. So these are the basic what do you call division of the data pipeline. But the data pipeline is moving a data from one place to another place. Now, one more discussion you would be coming through in multiple blocks, that there is something called ETL and there is something called data pipeline. Both have a basic difference. There is a difference in that. So ETL, like you must be knowing, the ETL is, I'll write it here. ETL is extract. You extract the job, you transform the data, and then you load the data into the final output. Extract, transform, and load. Okay. Now, data pipeline also does the same thing. But it's not necessary that in the data pipeline you will have the transformation. You can have a data pipeline without the transformation. Sometimes you don't need to extract the job in the extract the data in the data pipeline. That's all already available. So data pipeline is more broader sense, and ETL is very specific. You have to extract, do the transformation, do the load. So data pipeline is bit broader. You can have a data observability, data governance, everything comes under the data pipeline. The lineage comes under the data pipeline. So for the UTL, you have a very good tool, Informatica, Abeniso, DBT. These are very good ETL tool. Oracle system is also have a IICS, I think is the Oracle, or there is something called in the ETL for the ELT purpose also you can use in that. We can use Snap Logic, DBT also, like almost everything, all the tools which support ETL also supports ELT. In ELT is extract, you extract, do the load and transform. For example, you have a data already in a Snowflake system, so you don't need to bring the data into Snowflake system. You need to pull the data outside of the Snowflake system. Load means you have already loaded the data into the Snowflake system. You just need to do the transformation again, put it back into the Snowflake system. So there are multiple cloud version of all Informatica or Oracle, or you have the DBT cloud. So all the cloud version has also come up which supports ETL. So ETL is one of the part of the data pipeline, and data pipeline is the bigger picture of the data. So this was all about the introductory session of the data pipeline. In the next session, I'll go more detail into it. We'll try to understand in each session. We'll take one example and I will try to understand with that. I hope you will be getting into it and start going through multiple vlogs, going into the company's documentation or the tools documentation that will help you in making your understanding very good and very broad in the sense of data pipeline. In any case of doubt, or you want something more to be covered in the future series of data pipeline, you can post it in the comment. You can reach out through my email address, or you can post your comment, your issues in the comment itself. Thank you and happy learning.